welcome to our second speaker series here at Mills Elementary. Today we're going to talk about the gift of failure and how you let your kids make their own mistakes. So let's start with making mistakes start early. So one of the things that researchers have shown is that letting our kids make mistakes is critical to their future success. One of the earliest things we do as parents is to help our kids learn how to walk. It's one of the best things as a parent, if you've gone through that process, in watching their failures, if you will. And one of the things that we know parents do often is, besides film them and post them onto YouTube, is to celebrate all of the little milestones that they have. But along the way, they also make lots of failures. And so what we watch parents do is that process of, let me show you how to do this. We guide them, we hold them, and when they make mistakes, we celebrate the fact that you're learning, you're getting there, you're going to get it, it just needs some more time. So for whatever reason, once little kiddos start walking, this is where parents start to make that shift into, but now I need to protect you. Because it's exciting once they start to walk, it's exciting they've made all those mistakes, and all those mistakes along the way are the ones that helped them learn how to walk. But then when they start walking, then we realize now they can get into all of these other problems. So we have narrowed down to two main parenting styles that are more of the buzz topic words. There's probably about 15 different parenting styles that have transitioned from child rearing to more parenting. And so one of the most popular ones for the last 10 years or so has been those helicopter parents. The helicopter parents are parents who will swoop in at a moment's notice and protect their kids because something is starting to rumble and I need to make sure that they're okay. They forgot their lunch and the first one to race to school with the lunchbox, and here it is. So that's been the more popular parenting style for the last 10 years or so. And now a new term has been coined called lawnmower parenting. And lawnmower parenting are the parents who clear the path for their kiddos so that they never have to face any obstacles. Which, as a parent, we don't want our kids to ever feel bad or scared or worried. We don't want them to fail. So what happens is then we start to do anything possible. We're at the school door when there's a problem, we are talking to coaches, we are yelling on the sidelines at the coaches. So lawnmower parenting is more of a recent coined terminology, but the phenomena is still there. So it takes helicopter parenting to the next level. And what we find with this is that our kids are not learning how to make mistakes, number one, because everything is cleared for them. So they're not learning that. They don't know what happens when they feel frustrated because somebody is there to soothe it over, make it right. So they don't know how to deal with that level of frustration, and they don't really know what to do next. So I was actually listening to an interesting podcast last week, and it was a researcher discussing failure with students, and we always kind of joke about it as educators about parents maybe going, you're going to go to college with your child, but he was actually talking about some college admissions people who have had reports of parents coming with the child to do their college intake interview. And so it's kind of an educator's joke, if you will, but he was proving the reality of the fact that parents are actually going with their child to college. So we don't want that to happen. We want our children to be autonomous. We want them to go out there in the world just as they were when they were babies learning how to walk. We want them to give it a try, and it's okay if they fall down. We're there to help celebrate and show them what to do next. So I found this quote here that I thought was pretty fitting for what we're doing today. It's not what you do for your children, but what you have taught them for themselves that make them successful. So helping students learn how to make their own mistakes is more important than actually making sure that their life is perfect and beautiful along the way, because they are going to face trials and tribulations. And we we know what the facts are about future careers, in that our students are being prepared for jobs that haven't even been invented yet. So there's no way that we can prepare them for the failures that might come, because we don't even know what they might be. So some of the best ways, and then we'll take questions and go from there, but some of the best ways, one of the books that a lot of my information comes from is The Gift of Failure, which is by Jessica Leahy. So if you want to check out her book, it's a phenomenal book for parents and resources. Or she does a lot of good YouTube things too. She is in a lot of podcasts, a lot of YouTube videos that will give you a good synopsis of how to help your child make their own mistakes. So I've lifted out a few of them for you. And one of the biggest one is watching your own reaction when your kid makes a mistake. It's very easy for us to do the or even the overreaction of, oh my goodness gracious, I can't believe you did X, Y, and Z. This also works for schooling and grades. When we talk about expectations of children with grades, we all want our children to be A students, but for some, that's just not their upper echelon. So being proud of what they are doing and making sure you're watching your reactions when they make mistakes. Second one is teaching strategies to deal with frustration. So when things don't go the way that they want, it doesn't mean that the world is over. It doesn't mean that we stop doing it, but we have to teach them ways to deal with that frustration of talking it through are some good ways. Sometimes we just need a hug from somebody. Sometimes we just need to have a conversation with somebody. Sometimes we need to scream it out. So screaming into pillows is always a great strategy, or writing it out, journaling, are great ways to help them feel their frustration. But being able to talk that through with you at home is key. Helping them with their reflection goes back to that conversation that you can have with them with their frustration. But then how do you take this mistake and how do you learn from it? So going back to when they were learning how to walk, we fall down. What do? First thing, we pick them up and show them that you fall down, but then you get back up. And then you let go a little bit and you let them realize, oh, I can pull myself up from here. So this is the same concept as kiddos get older. What can you do to guide them and reflect on what happened, what was the mistake or the failure, and what can we do next? What are you going to do to make a change? Doesn't mean we never try it again. We want to try it again, but what are you going to do differently? So a lot of kids don't have that processing because things are just taken care of for them. So if I'm struggling a little bit, a lot of times we swoop in. We want to help fix the problem for them. Because nobody wants to watch their kids struggle. That's a hard thing. But making sure you step back and realize they can do it, and they will do it. There might be tears, there might be yells, but they will get to that point. Emphasizing your own mistakes. I kind of call this Pinterest parenting. So we put out there, or Instagramming, we put out there what's perfect, what's right, but we want to make sure that our kids know too that we make mistakes. And so when something happens at home, we want to make sure we talk it out loud with our kids. So, oh man, I totally messed up, this dinner tonight. I completely forgot the spices, and now it's very bland, and I think next time I will. And so talking through what your mistakes are and not having that overreaction to it will help them see that, oh, this is how this process goes. And this is something we've worked on with our teachers as well in the classroom. Providing opportunities for autonomy is a big one. So autonomy is a word we use, which basically just means allowing them to do their own thing. So what are ways that students can at home have more ownership of to what they're doing? So one of the great ideas is to give them chores, but make them responsible for a certain area of your house. So maybe it's always the dishwasher, and so they're responsible for that dishwasher, and when the dishes pile up, they're more aware of, man, I got to take care of this dishwasher because nobody can put dishes into it. That's helping them see that I am responsible for something and I am going to make mistakes, but it allows them to see what happens when those mistakes are made. So giving them an area of the house, which can be kind of difficult, especially if it's like the dishwasher, people come into your house, you want your kitchen to be nice and clean, your dishes off the counter, but allowing them to see what that process looks like, they will take more ownership of that and be more responsible and understand what it feels like to have that success. And then the biggest one, of course, is not clearing the path. We don't want to put obstacles in front of our children, but when we see opportunities where they can learn from that, then we want to be able to do that. So they're going to struggle, and you're going to be right there to provide that support, emotional support for them, but helping them go through those obstacles is part of the learning process. And don't come in and rescue when they do struggle. They've got to feel that frustration. We call it productive frustration. When I can feel that I'm struggling with this, or I'm feeling really frustrated or even sad about this, but with work and with effort, I'm going to get over the hump. And kids have to feel that because, as we talked a little bit last month about changes in society and technology, it's right there. Kids are used to having things done immediately, and so they're not learning how to put the effort and hard work into it. So another quote before we do questions, another quote I had was that it's not a parent's responsibility.
Teachers, may I have your attention? Please hold your attendance until 8:45. Please hold your attendance until 8:45. Breakfast line was held up this morning because of late buses. Thank you.
It's not a parent's responsibility to make their kids happy. It's a parent's responsibility to teach them how to work hard so that they will be happy. And part of that is learning how to handle things that don't go the way that they want. So that's a quick synopsis about learning how to make mistakes and what to do with them. So do you have any questions? And if you have any questions online, so we'll stop it right here, but if you have any questions online, just use the form below or wherever it is on the screen, and then submit them, and then we'll respond to them as quickly as we can. Otherwise, we'll see you next month at the end of November for our next speaker series.